When I was going through your profile, I saw that you have done the certification of Bombay Stock Exchange and even financial modeling. And while your
Yes.
first job was as analyst in an MNC as investment operations, how would you like to guide people who wanted to do these certification vis-a-vis how these two certifications contributed to your first job as analyst and that too into investment operations?
Yeah, so even in investment operations, we do use a lot of Excel and a lot of valuation. So just since I was like very interested in the stock market, so I was kind of like motivated towards to get more knowledge. So that's the reason. So only I would say motivation to do these certifications was to have more knowledge. It was not something in my mind, okay, that if I'll do this certification, it will help me in my job. Eventually, these things did help in my job, but that was not like my first priority. My first priority was to just gain the knowledge. But when I started learning these, definitely these certifications, financial modeling helped to improve my Excel skills, which helped in my day-to-day job. And of course, it helped me in terms of valuing the other stocks. But that was not what I was doing at the job, but that was like something I was interested in doing. So I used to do that side by side, even with my basic like investment operations or profile that I was doing. So these two things I would say were the motivators. So of course, having good Excel knowledge, having good knowledge of valuations, reading the financial statements is, I would say, any day plus to have. And I would kind of like recommend this to all the freshers like who want to start their career in finance, that they must have like good Excel knowledge, good knowledge to read the financial statements. They should be comfortable in comparing the balance sheet from one year to previous year and see the anomalies which they can find. This is something I would say, like if these things interest, then only they should proceed ahead while making the career in finance, because these are the things like which eventually they will be doing.
Wonderful. In fact, I was about to ask this from you that, Excel, advanced Excel is a must for any job role today. Whether you move
Yes.
into financial function, you move into marketing, you move into HR, you move into any analytics for the specialization. Excel is definitely the need of the hour and is going to be. Can you suggest few important Excel, advanced Excel functions, which is must for beginners, not only for financial functions, but it is common across all specializations?
Yeah, so definitely I would say, like moving from the basic Excel, I would say one should be good in basic to reach to advanced. So in basic, like one should focus on how they are using the referencing of the cells. Because many times I see like when we interview candidates, they are good with using the formula, but they generally do not reference the formula, and that doesn't make the sheets dynamic. So while working on spreadsheets, the first thing to be very focused is how dynamic the spreadsheet is. Like if someone is making some change on, let's say, part one, it should automatically be updated in the second parts, and everything should be linked. So first thing is like how you are using referencing. Once like you're good and comfortable with referencing and basic functions of sum ifs, count ifs, VLOOKUPs, then definitely while moving to the advanced, uh, we can go with power pivots, because the need of the hour is to visualize the data. If you cannot visualize the data of 10,000 rows or 20,000 rows in a good charts, which can represent in a good charts or even in good tables, like which can represent how the trajectory has been. And the main thing is like how easy readable and comparable the data is, so that the senior management can have the insight. So either like I would say, even using power pivots, there folks can use timelines, they can use slicers and make a very good dashboard using power pivots. So this is something like which will give management a view that okay, like these were like our dividend payments in last year, these are now, these are like our forecasted in future. So all those things give an insight, a picture. So I think it depends like how good you represent the growth story or any data, so that if someone senior is looking into it, they can find out like this is an anomaly, like this figure should not be like this. At least they have, and they can just point out in 4 to 5 minutes, and this can save a lot of time for the senior management, like if we are presenting these dashboards. So of course, so I would say like in Excel, the journey should be from basic, where like we are good with referencing, where we are good with making things dynamic, then moving on to pivots, using index match, direct address, all these things just to make sure that the spreadsheets are dynamic. And of course, apart from Excel, there are other tools available in the market. I would say Tableau is there, Power BI is there. Power BI, I would say, is like very simple, which if you have good command over pivots, then using Power BI is also very simple. And Power BI is a great visualization tool, I would say. And it's pretty common in industry these days because every management like they need to see dashboards and charts. So I think that's where like these visualization tools comes into place. And even these profiles kind of like interlink with what data analysts are doing. They're also kind of like cleaning the data, making the data readable. And this is also a very good role, like which is, I would say, in trajectory with finance and like folks are coming into a fintech role.
Okay. So when you're talking about the Excel and the contribution of data cleaning and the contribution of fintech into that, would you like to recommend any certification since you're already into that business? Would you like to recommend some certifications for freshers or people with little experience but want to do a certification in Excel or advanced Excel? Which certification would you recommend, which is a corporate fit for that?
Yeah, I would say from the knowledge standpoint of view, using any portal like Simply Learn or Udemy, wherein they can focus on a vast area and cover at least two, three tools. Like if they are doing Excel, with Excel, I think they should do Power BI and SQL so that at least they are good for the business analytics profile because SQL is used to like pull in the good sources of data, let's say the data like which is not uh, compatible like in Excel can be pulled out from SQL. And then if they need certain sets and tables, then those can be further pulled into Excel and then like visualize with Power BI. So I would say at least have these three tools, at least SQL, Excel, Power BI, and Tableau. So these four tools would be a good fit for any business analytics or data analytics profile.
Okay. And
And
you expect that
just to
Simply
clear,
Learn,
like,
Udemy, it will be good for that.
yes, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Simply Learn or Udemy, there are ample of courses available. So it's up to them, like whether they want to just go for a business analytics course and have a good grasp on these tools, or I would say it's up to them, like if they want to individually just go and learn these tools, Excel, SQL, and then make the application. So that's totally the choice of the candidates, like who want to pursue these courses. Apart from that, I would say like many times I see like students, they kind of like confuse between like what is data analytics and what is data science, because there is a good difference between data analytics and data science, because data analytics is just related with cleaning the data, getting the data, and providing the data visualization to the senior management so that they can make quick decisions. But then there comes like data science, which actually involve a lot more than what is there in data analytics. So data science is, I would say, like it's a very vast term. And they're like, of course you would need all these tools, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, but that's not the end in data science. It's just the beginning, because we would be like pivoting to other tools like Python, R, then uh, then there's like a lot of mathematical calculations and statistics involved in data science, wherein we can make the forecast and make the future predictions. And also, the folks working in the data science fields are so well equipped that they at times like they develop the app whenever required to automate stuff. So that's what like data science is pivoted to, and that's what like data analytics. So I think just before making this choice, whether you want data science or data analytics, one should know like what's their primary goal is.
I'm so thankful for covering this in detail, Jatin, because yes, a lot of people are getting much confused between data analytics, data scientist role, even data engineer role as well. And you have
Yes,
given a
yes,
very beautiful explanation, especially for beginners who wanted to differentiate that where they actually want to contribute and in which
yes,
area specifically. Now, while you have started your first profile as into the investment operations as well, I would like you
yes.
to explain a little bit that what was your role or responsibility specifically related to investment operations for an MNC?
Yeah, so while working in the investment operations domain, what what our role was, like our role was as a firewall. Like we were doing quality checks of all the trades that were feeding into our queue. So we used to do a quality check of like what portfolio managers or traders asked for the order, has has it like been executed and confirmed. And then post the confirmation, the trade life cycle is like we receive the trade orders, then it flows to a system wherein like we confirm and then we match it on a platform. And post matching, we also check for the settlement. So in general, like in India market, like equity settlement works on T+2. So like nowadays, like it's shifted to T+1 as well. So that's what we used to follow in major markets where like the equity settlement is T+2 or T+1. So we used to confirm those trades and then also check for if they have settled successfully or not. Because if you are trading personally, I think settlement is not an issue because it's just a personal portfolio to see. But when it's a firm's portfolio where like you have thousands of trades on daily basis, then settlement also comes into role because it's not necessary that all the trades which have been executed and confirmed will get settled. So there are cases like where the trade get fails and then like and there is like a buy-in risk also involved on back of it. So our job was to make sure that the trades were confirmed and settled on timely basis. And if there is a buy-in risk where like the firm is obliged to provide the delivery to some other firm, that is communicated to the other party and the onus is shifted to the other party for those risks.
So
So
do you
this
think,
this was the risk part.
sure. Do you think this needs a specific certification for investment understanding? Because, investment operations, investment banking is still a buzzword, and people really want to move into this because maybe they feel that it is something related to only the investment part. So, any specific certifications or for
But
people who want to come specifically into investments?
yeah, I would say like if someone is good with the basic MBA knowledge, like they have good knowledge of all these instruments, like NDF, equity, fixed income trades, also like OTC trades, hybrid securities. If someone is good with all these basic understandings, they are good with what are the basic corporate actions, like what is bank reconciliation statement, like where they can reconcile the asset recons and cash recons. If they are comfortable in making all those things, I would say there is no certification required. But yes, if you feel that there is a lag, there is lag or a knowledge gap, I would say definitely then they can search for certifications on NSC because those certifications are specifically related to capital markets. So they will cover like what all good instruments that uh, they will cover like all the financial instruments, and that is like what is the basic requirement. The one should be comfortable, one should know like what is a non-deliverable forward, like what is an equity trade, like how does an option work, because if you're confirming those things, one should have the basic knowledge of all these instruments. So having these basic knowledge of all these instruments, and I think it's covered like in any other also certification, I would say, whether it's CFA, whether it's FRM, even in those basic certifications, these subjects and topics are covered because this is the basic that anyone interested in finance field should know.
Okay. And how did your journey change from an analyst to a senior analyst and now to a team lead of 12 people? What you feel your role responsibility changed during all these years and these roles?
In a one word, I would say like it was just taking more responsibility. So even if like I started as an analyst, I had that vision of taking more responsibility and looking to my left and right. So I think knowing my left and right, I would say like the other teams like which were working in conjunction was a major win because that that thing and the connects that we